We are going to start nice and easy, lying on our backs. So if you want to pop your folded blanket under your head, a little bit of support, you're more than welcome to. And you can have your legs for now just anywhere that feels good. So maybe they're out straight, maybe your knees are bent, feet a little way apart, letting the knees knock in together. Maybe your arms are alongside you on the ground, or maybe they're resting on your body. It's whatever feels comfortable. Closing your eyes and just letting yourself take a few moments to arrive here, settle here on your mat. So if you haven't already, maybe taking a few little sighs, nice gentle breath in through the nose, letting the breath go out the mouth. Just using that to allow yourself to soften, to sink in a little heavier. Whenever you've had a few sighs, you start to seal the lips, bring your attention to your breath. Just becoming familiar with it to start with, noticing where it's sitting in your body. Maybe it's up in the chest, maybe you can feel it down in the belly. If your hands are on your body, maybe you can feel how much your hands rise and fall with the breath. When you're ready, starting to draw the breath a little deeper, making it a little fuller. Trying to smooth out the transition between the in-breath and the out-breath. And trying to find a nice, comfortable, controlled pace where the inhale and the exhale last for the same amount of time. So looking for a breath that is slower than you maybe found yourself breathing when you just observed your natural breath, but not so slow that it's sort of too much effort to sustain it. And try and keep coming back to this breath over the next 40 minutes or so. Start with a really gentle stretch, so keeping that breath going nice and steadily. Reaching the arms up overhead along the ground and taking hold of opposite elbows. Letting the arms sink back to the ground. Noticing if you feel any changes in where your breath is as you do that. Taking one more breath here, and then just switching the grip in the elbows. Taking one more breath here. And if you can grab your little pillow stack, I want you to pop it just to the side of your left hip, roughly about hip height, maybe a little distance away. I'm going to come into a twist in a minute, but just going to keep it nice and easy, so that's there for us to rest on. So if you then bring the soles of your feet to the ground, so that your ankles are kind of stacked under your knees. I'm going to float the feet up so the knees come over the hips. Just take a moment to roll your lower back down into the ground so you can feel that the whole of your lower back is in contact with the ground. You might need to hug the tummy muscles in a little bit to help you find that. And then taking your fingertips to your knees, you're going to draw little circles with the knees. So taking the knees away from each other and then back together. And then those circles are going to start to get bigger and bigger. Feeling into that hip joint right up at the top of the thigh and seeing how that's feeling today. Keeping that breath. Taking one more circle in this direction. Then we're going to swap round. So starting big and then making these circles slowly a little bit smaller once they feel a little bit softer. Till they come back to center. Lovely. Then you take the arms out in a T shape along the ground, either side of you. Draw the knees up into your chest. And then on an exhale, drop them over to the left. Let them rest on that little stack of pillows. And let your gaze go over the right shoulder if that feels comfortable. Taking your attention back to your breath. Maybe after your next breath, if you've got two cushions under your legs, you can remove one, just take the twist a little bit deeper. You can move the top cushion over to the right. Taking one more breath on this side. And on an inhale, you're going to bring the knees back over the center of the body. Stack the cushions over by the right hip. Set up the arms again, and then on an exhale, gently drop the knees to the right, letting them rest. Maybe switching the gaze over the left shoulder if that feels comfortable. Nice, steady breath. Allowing your body to be soft here. If you want to take it a little deeper, then after your next breath, maybe removing that top cushion, letting the knees drop a little bit further over. Taking one more breath on this side. And then inhale, bring the knees back up into the chest and place the soles of the feet down on the ground. You're going to grab your belt or strap. You're going to reach the right foot up towards the ceiling. It doesn't need to be a straight leg, but try and flex the foot and then hang your strap, the middle of the strap, over the ball of the foot. So we want to be able to then reach the arms up, but let them sit back in that shoulder socket. So rather than reaching forward, you're letting them sink down. Take the hands forward to find the strap. You've got a little bit of tension in the strap, nice straight arms, flexed foot. Doesn't matter if that knee is not completely straight, not for now. On an exhale, you're going to point your toe towards the ceiling. Inhale to draw the toes back towards your face. Do that 4 more times. So moving with your breath. Noticing where you feel the muscles working, waking up, doing whatever they need to do. Exhaling to point, inhaling to flex. 1 more. The foot comes back to a flexed position. And this time we are going to straighten the leg. So if that means that the heel goes further towards the ground so that you're not overstretching that hamstring, it doesn't feel icky, then just let the strap slide a bit away from you. So you've got a nice straight leg and flexed foot wherever your body wants that to be. Now hold here for a couple of breaths. If this is easy peasy and you want a bit more of a challenge, then you can slide the left foot along the ground, flexing through that foot as well. So kicking out through the heel, toes drawing up towards the sky. Nice steady breath. We're going to try this one in a balance, standing on one leg in a little bit and see how different it feels. For now, we're going to take the strap, both sides of the strap, in the left hand, and we're going to do it. It's a really small movement, but it's a little outer hip stretch. So you're going to pull on the strap ever so gently so the foot comes towards your face and across towards the middle of the body a little bit. There's a little muscle in the outer hip that will get into. You might feel it, you might not. And keep kicking out through the heel, drawing the toes towards the face. Nice strong flex in the foot. Nice steady breaths. One more breath holding here. And on an inhale, bringing the right foot back towards the center, bending up the left foot, releasing the strap and letting the right foot come down to the ground. Give the legs a little windscreen wiper action if that feels nice. Try and keep that steady breath going. Lovely. And when you're ready, bring the knees back to center, ready for the other side. So left leg reaches up, hanging the strap over the ball of the foot, reaching the arms up, letting the shoulders contact the ground, taking hold of that strap. So strong flex in the foot, and then on an exhale, pointing the toe towards the sky. Inhale as you draw it back towards your face. 4 more times. Exhale to point. Inhale to flex. Noticing how the muscles down the back of your leg feel as you do this. And when you've done your final one, holding that flex, try and straighten out the legs. So letting the hands slide a little way down the strap if that helps. Nice big flex in the foot. option to straighten that right leg along the ground, flexing out through that heel, drawing those toes up towards the sky. Nice and steady with the breath. And then let's take both straps in the right hand. Gentle pull for the leg towards the face and towards the center of the body. Keeping both hips down on the ground. One more breath on this side. And gently bringing the left leg back to center, bending the right foot up so it comes to the ground, and then releasing the strap down. Taking the feet wide on the mat. On an exhale, drop the knees over to the right. Inhale as they come through center to the left. On the next exhale, back to center as you breathe in. Dropping them over to the right on the exhale, going to hold there. If you want to turn your gaze over the left shoulder away from the knees, you can. One more breath. On an inhale, coming to center. Exhaling to the left. Switching the gaze if you wish. Slowly the knees hang heavy. One more breath here. On an inhale, bring your knees back to center. If you've got a blanket under your head, maybe just pop it over to one side. Now hug the knees into the chest. Maybe take a moment to rock the lower back from side to side with a little massage for the lower back. And then when you're ready, hugging the knees right into the chest, you start to rock and roll the length of the spine if that's comfortable. You're ready, coming up to seated. Lovely. Just take a couple of seated twists. Can you all still hear me? I think I sat on a button. When you're ready, on an inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, take the hands through heart center. I'm going to do 3 more like that. Big inhale, sweeping the arms up high. Exhale, hands to heart. 1 more time. This time we'll inhale, sweep the arms up high. On the exhale, twisting to the left so that the back hand come to fingertips on the ground, or maybe to your lower back. Front hand could be on the leg if that's comfortable. Sitting nice and tall, gazing over that back shoulder if that's comfortable. And turn this into a side stretch. So you just let your chin roll back in line with your chest, staying everything else keeping still. And we're going to inhale the left arm up alongside the ear. And as you exhale, fold over the right leg. So you're reaching over with that top arm. Trying to keep the spine as long as you can get it. Almost like you're trying to spin your chest up towards the sky a little bit. Nice big breaths. One more breath here. And then on an inhale, using that top arm to lift you back up, coming to face the front. Take a breath out. On another inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead. And then exhaling to twist to the right. Trying to keep that spine nice and long. Gazing over the back shoulder. Last breath here, then we're going to go for that side stretch. So on the next exhale, just let that chin roll back round in line with the chest. Then on an inhale, sweep the right arm up alongside the ear. Exhale as you fold over the left side, reaching through that top arm. We're going to keep both hips down, chest spinning through to the sky. Nice big breaths into the side of the body. Last breath here. And on an inhale, using that top arm to lift you back up, coming back to the center. A couple of breaths in the middle. Using this time to just check in on the body, see how it feels. See how your breath feels. And maybe notice if there's any changes in it from when you started. And when you're ready, we're going to come up and over onto all fours. Any way you want to. Just taking a moment to get set up. So pressing through the fingertips, knuckles, thumb, in the inside of those elbows facing each other, pressing into the ground. So the shoulder blades wrap around the ribs, so nice and supported. Trying to get a nice flat back. Pressing the tops of the feet lightly into the ground, long through the neck. The gaze is straight down to the mat beneath you. From here, we're going to start some cat-cows. So on an inhale, the pelvis tips, belly drops, gaze lifts forward. And then as you exhale, pressing into the ground to arch the back to the sky, let the head hang heavy. Inhale as you roll the spine forward, belly drops, gaze lift. Exhale, angry cat, arching your back to the sky, letting the head hang. Lovely. 3 more, moving with your breath. Noticing where you feel any kinks that need any bit more attention, or maybe you notice a particular part of the body is feeling good this week, better than normal. And coming back to neutral, do some thread the needles, making sure you've got a nice strong base. Reaching the right arm out to the side to start with the palm facing down to the ground. And then as you inhale, press into the bottom hand and reach the right arm up. Lovely. As you exhale, reach the right hand under the left arm, reaching as far as you can. Don't quite touch down. We're going to inhale, lift back up again. Do that twice more. So exhale to reach through. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, reaching through. Inhale to lift. This time, exhale, reaching as far as you can and letting the hand, shoulder, head come down. You can keep the left hand in front of the face for support, or maybe stretch the hand, arm out straight. And gentle pressure through that top hand. Nice big breaths. One more. Sliding that left hand back in front of the face. And then on an inhale, you're going to press firmly down to help lift that right arm back up to the sky. Exhale, taking it down. Lovely. Other side. So left arm reaches out, palm facing to the ground. On an inhale, spinning the chest, lifting the arm. Exhale, reaching through. Inhale to lift up high. Exhale to reach. Inhale to lift. Exhale, reach one more. Inhale, lifting up high. Exhale, reaching as far as you can, letting the arm, the shoulder, the head come down. Option to keep the right hand where it is for support, or slide it up towards the top of the mat. Nice deep breath. One more breath. And on an exhale, just slide that right hand back in front of the face. And on an inhale, press down into the right hand to help spin the left arm up to the sky. On an exhale, taking that hand down. Lovely. So from here, we're just going to sit back into a child's pose. If it's comfortable, taking the knees nice and wide, sinking the hips back. Hands reaching up towards the top of the mat, pressing the whole of the hand. So it's kind of slightly more active than just generally hanging out. Maybe as you press through the hand, try pressing through the fingertips and lift the heel of the hand away from the mat a little. And see how that feels. What do you notice? What changes when you do that? And when you're ready, planting the heel of your hand back down into the ground and making your way up into a downward facing dog. So tucking the toes, keeping the knees bent as long as you want. Maybe walking the dog, straightening one leg first and then the other if the backs of the legs are still feeling a little tight or a little sleepy. Keep pressing through those fingertips, the thumb, the knuckles, so you're not bearing all of that weight through your wrists. And then when you're ready, starting to find a little bit of stillness, making any adjustments you need to so that you feel nice and strong here. Lovely.
On an inhale, bring your weight forward so your shoulders come over your wrists, and take your knees down so you're in a sort of half plank. So just tucking the tailbone slightly so that the hips are in the middle on the way down, like your back's a slide rather than popping up. Taking one more breath here. Then on an exhale, you're going to take the chest down between the thumbs. So your bum is going to stick up a little bit, chin comes down. On an inhale, you're going to take the belly to the earth. Lift the shoulders away from the ground, little low cobra. Keep the feet down, keep pressing the hips into the earth. On an exhale, release the chest to the ground, tuck the toes. Push yourself back through child's pose and up into your downward facing dog. One more breath here. So we'll do the same again. So on an inhale, bring the shoulders forward. Find your low plank with the knees down. Take a breath in. On an exhale, lower the chest down between the thumb and the chins. Bum's going to stick up a little bit. On an inhale, belly comes to the ground, chest lift. Keep the feet down. Exhale, release down, tuck toes back to your downward facing dog. And from here, starting to walk the hands back towards the feet, find a ragdoll forward fold. So taking a nice big bend in the knees, trying to get into the back here, so letting the head hang really heavy. Give the head a little nod, a little shake. Let's check that there's no tension that doesn't need to be there in the neck. Just check in on your face. Notice if you're gripping either your teeth, your tongue, your cheeks. Just let gravity take over. Let everything become soft. Maybe having a little sway side to side if that feels nice. And when you're ready, if you've got your hands holding onto elbows, just let them release back down to the ground. And then on an inhale, start to roll up to standing, keeping the knees soft and the chin tucked all the way to the top, just letting the spine unroll. Lovely. And a little shoulder roll if that feels nice up here. So we're going to do a little thing we did in postnatal training I was doing, which was aim was to like build balance when it might be trickier, and none of us were postnatal and we all found it a bit tricky, so I think there's no harm in us just generally having a go. So if you line your heels up with the very back of your mat to start with, we're basically going to do a little bit of tightrope walking. So if you imagine there is a, one of those, like those gymnastics one, like those little plank of wood that's like the width of your foot. So you can imagine there's one of them down the middle of your mat. So you're going to choose the foot to start up with, lining that up, heel at the back of the mat. And then you're going to walk heel to toe. So heel comes right to the toe. Standing nice and tall, walking all the way along your mat. You're going to try to lift your gaze. It's much easier to balance if you stare down at your feet. Let's see if you can keep that gaze as lifted as possible. Now, when you get to the front of your mat, you're going to pivot and come all the way back. Trying to keep that steady breath going. Notice if it shifts as you're concentrating. Lovely. And when you're done, coming back onto the back of your mat, feet roughly hip width apart, so they're kind of under the hip bone where you can feel it. And do some little heel raises, work those feet up a little bit more. So on an inhale, raising the heels up nice and high. Exhale to lower. Lovely. 3 more. And trying to use the full breath for the movement. So notice if you're hanging around waiting for the breath to finish. See if you need to slow down your movement a little bit. Lovely. So we'll do some more balances. So I'm going to do 3 little balances. I'm just going to turn this way so it's a bit easier to see. I'm sorry if I get my lefts and rights muddled again. So standing with your feet kind of a nice, comfortable, solid distance apart to start with even. I'm going to shift the weight into the left foot. When you do that, try not to lock out the knee. Try and keep it a little bit bouncy, a little bit soft. And help weather any wobbles that you have. And stand up nice and tall, bring the hands to heart. We're going to start in tree. So you're going to take the right foot, the sole of the right foot, and place it inside the left leg. Now it can go anywhere from right down at the ankle, maybe with the toe still on the ground, all the way up, maybe right up into your groin. Doesn't really matter where it is, as long as you can keep standing tall. Keep the tailbone tucked a little bit, make sure the bum doesn't pop out, and keep the knee drawing to the side and behind you. So the higher the foot comes up the leg, you'll need to press those 2 things into each other to keep them in balance. If you want to, you can reach the arms up overhead, little branches. And if this feels super easy, you can close your eyes and see how you get on there. And take 1 more breath in tree. So then exhale, you're going to take the hands back to prayer at heart center. On an inhale, you're going to bring that right knee up into the chest. And on an exhale, you're going to extend the leg. You can keep the hands at the heart, or you can take them to your hips. So trying to keep the ribs over the hips. I'm trying to lift that front foot as high as you can. So this is exactly the same shape that we were in, lying on our backs on the ground with the strap. But obviously gravity is doing something else with us this time. Keeping nice, steady breaths. Last one. On an inhale, going to bring the knee up into the chest. Exhale to place it back down. Have a little wiggle. Give the feet a little shake out if they need it. Lovely. And then we'll do the other side. So weight into right foot this time. Left foot comes to the inside of the leg. Trying to keep the hips roughly under the ribs, both side to side and front to back. Notice if your bum pops out. Drawing that knee back so you're getting a bit of opening at the front of the hip. Hands can stay in prayer, you can reach them up. Make your branches. Try not to look at something else that's moving. Lovely. On your next exhale, whenever that arrives, taking the hands together, bringing them back to heart center. And then we're going to draw that left knee in and extend it. So hands can come to hips, they can stay at the heart. Try to lift that front foot as high as it can go. If you're not feeling flexing it, you can see what happens when you point it. But whichever feels strongest in your leg is the one we want to stick with. One more breath. On an inhale, bring the knee up into the chest. Exhale, stepping it down. Lovely. Have a little wiggle. Give the feet a little shake. Excellent. So let's come back towards the back of the mat, standing nice and tall here. So just bringing your attention to the soles of your feet, maybe closing your eyes if that helps you focus. Noticing how your weight is distributed. Trying to balance it out a little bit so it feels nice and solid. Again, keeping the knees a little bit soft. Standing nice and tall. Finding mountain pose here, so reaching to the earth with the fingertips. Palms can face towards the body or rolling from the shoulder so that they come to face forward. Nice steady breaths. On an inhale, let's sweep the arms high, let the palms press together. As you exhale, hinge at the hips, coming into a forward fold. We're going to hold here. On your next inhale, just ripple the spine up so it straightens up a little bit. And then exhale, softening forward again. See if you find any space. If you want to do that one or two more times, feel free just to explore the space you've got at the bottom of that fold. And when you're ready, holding here, taking your attention to your feet again and noticing if you've rocked the weight back in your heels, seeing if you can bring it forward a little bit so that the weight is spread through the feet, pressing through the toes as well. If you can reach your feet, take your peace fingers, wrap them around the big toe, the thumb gripping on the inside of the toe. Inhale to lift up. If you can't reach your toes, you can take your hands behind the shins. Inhale to straighten the back and the arms. On an exhale, folding forward again, taking the elbows out to the sides. So it's just a gentle pull. So legs are as straight as you can get them without the hamstrings whinging at you too much. So let the head be heavy. One more breath. Then releasing your grip on whatever you've got. On an inhale, lifting up, looking forward, nice flat back. On an exhale, taking the hands to the ground, and we're going to walk forward until we come to tabletop. So bringing the knees down, sitting the bum back, finding your child's pose again. So any variation this time, knees together, knees apart, arms forward or arms alongside the legs. Whatever feels right. Bringing your focus back to your breath. Allowing this to be a nice passive pose. So letting yourself be soft here. Lovely. From here, starting to bring yourself up so that you're in a kneeling position. Option to tuck the toes and sit back. So you stretch out the sole of the foot a little bit. You don't have to stay there very long if that is unpleasant. Lovely. On an inhale, we're going to reach the arms out, nice and wide. On an exhale, we're going to bring the arms forward so they cross over at the elbow. 3 options here. 1, just give yourself a nice hug. 2, bend up the arms so the backs of the hands come together. Hold here. Option 3 is to take a double wrap. Palms of the hands pressing into each other. It needs to be quite active through the hands. And if you've got that, then you want to take the hands away from the face a little bit and lift the elbows up to shoulder height. So you're trying to find a sort of 90-degree bend there. And taking nice big breaths into the back. On an exhale, you can squeeze the elbows into each other. And as you inhale, just release that pressure, keeping the elbows lifted. Exhale to squeeze. Inhale to release. Just gazing softly at that space between the arms. 1 more squeeze. Holding here. One more breath. And on an inhale, unraveling the arms, taking them nice and wide. Let the chest lift up and forward a little bit. Nice big breath. And on an exhale, we're going to wrap the opposite to the left arm underneath. Again, options just to give yourself a nice big hug. Arms back to back. Or maybe no, cross round, wrap round again. Just make sure you're doing both sides. Make sure the hands are away from the face and the elbows lifted to shoulder height. Nice strong pressing between the hands. Just gazing softly at that point where your arms touch. On an exhale, pressing the elbows into each other. Inhale to release them. 3 more times. And just holding and breathing. On an inhale, taking the arms nice and wide, lift the chest, nice big stretch. Lovely. I'm going to bring the hands together and do a little mudra before we come down to the ground. So you're going to bring the hands together at heart center. You're going to make a little lotus flower. So peeling the middle fingers away from each other, keeping the edge of the palm of the hand, the pinky and the thumb touching. So on an exhale, you're going to let the backs of the hands roll together, reach forward and around the back. And then inhale, rolling the hands together, palms come together, finding that lotus again. There's no right or wrong way to do it, just find a way that works for you. So you're reaching forward on the exhale with the palms back to back. As you inhale, finding that lotus flower sitting nice and tall. 3 more. You can close your eyes if that feels nice. Bringing the hands to prayer, taking a couple of breaths here. And then before we lie down, we're just going to do a modification of the traditional ceiling pose from the Ashtanga practice. So if you can swing your legs around so that you're sitting comfortably on your bum, whichever way cross-legged feels nice. You can sit on your blanket if you need a little lift under the hips. So we're going to reach both arms behind us, take hold of opposite elbows, wherever feels comfortable. Stack up your cushions in front of you. Inhale to lift the chest. On an exhale, you're going to fold yourself forward. Maybe the forehead comes to rest on the pillows. Maybe you need to make a bigger stack, or you can just let your head hang. And when you're ready, on an inhale, sitting up nice and tall. And then bring yourself to your final Shavasana pose. So if you want to lie on your back, lie on your back. If you want to take it on your side, feel free. And pop your folded up blanket under your head, or if it's a bit chilly in your front room or bedroom, you can just lay it over you to keep you nice and warm. If your lower back's feeling a bit funky, you can pop a cushion under each thigh. See how that feels. Just take a moment to get comfortable. Traditionally, the arms are alongside the body, just a comfortable distance away, with the palms of the hands facing up to the sky. If you're not feeling that today and you prefer to have your palms down or rest them on your body, then go ahead, do whatever feels right today. And let's take some nice big sighs to let go of all the effort, all the work that you've been doing. And taking a nice full breath in, filling up the lungs, feeling your rib cage expand, your belly swell, and then a big audible sigh out the mouth as you let it all go. A couple more of those. Allowing your bones to become heavy, your muscles to become soft. Taking a moment for a little body scan. So if you bring your attention to the very top of your head, slowly take your focus down the body, front and back. Just check in, notice how things are feeling. And if you notice that you're holding tension at any particular point as you work your way down, take a moment and see if there's anything you can do to soften that. Maybe with your breath, maybe it's a conscious decision to let go of something. Maybe it's a little readjustment, a little movement. Maybe you just have to learn to live with that one for now. All the way down to the soles of the feet. Letting go of your breath, your effort, allowing yourself to come to rest. A couple more minutes. Gently starting to take some deeper breaths. Nice and deep, filling up your lungs. Starting to bring a little movement back. Maybe rocking your head gently from side to side. Wriggling your fingers and toes. Rolling into the wrists and ankles. Just making those movements a little bit bigger. Maybe you feel you want to take a nice big stretch. Whatever helps you wake your body back up, reconnect to it. Bring your knees up into your chest, giving yourself a nice big hug. Maybe resting there, giving yourself that hug, or maybe rolling over onto one side, whichever feels most comfortable. Taking a few breaths, just enjoying that sensation. And starting to push yourself up to a comfortable seated position, keeping your eyes closed if you can as you come up. Taking any last little twists, wriggles, stretches, whatever your body is calling out for. Finding some stillness, letting your hands rest on your legs, over your heart or in prayer. Taking a moment to thank yourself for creating time today for this practice. Taking a little moment to thank each other for sharing it, experiencing it collectively. I'd like to invite you to think of a time in the past week when you have felt loved and cared for. When you're ready, rub your hands together, getting them nice and warm. Cupping the palms of the hand over your eyelids, taking a moment to notice how that feels this evening. And then in your own time, taking a nice big breath, blinking open your eyes and taking your hands away from your face.